Oh, didn't notice you there. Hello. So, have you ever wondered why economists like to use the word assumption in their economic models? The word assumption used in economic models or in any models in social science whatsoever is used to simplify the thinking process involved. There's a reason why this happens is because number one, it allows economists to simplify the process, and secondly, it generally assumes that man is rational and act according to their self-interest. So under this assumption, economists can predict what kind of action that men would take if given the incentives to do it. In this video, we're going to talk about the difference between Homo economicus and Homo Islamicus in the perversion of self-interest. Oh, I was reading The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith, and he will be quoted in this video, so stay tuned. The word Homo economicus has been thrown a lot, and historically, it is quite difficult to determine and pinpoint the exact instance in which it first appeared. However, according to Persky's 1995 journal, the first instance or description of the Homo economicus stemmed from John Stuart Mill's 1836 essay, in which he said that man is a creature who seeks to maximize his wealth and the efficacy to attain it. And this was supported by O'Boyle's 2007 article, in which he wrote that there are four criteria that John Stuart Mill focuses on, and that is accumulation of wealth, leisure, wealth and luxury, and also procreation. So, in essence, these four criteria that I have just mentioned signifies or encompass the meaning or sense of rationalism that the economic man possesses. Because Homo economicus is an agent that focuses on maximizing his self-interest, in an economic framework, what this means is that he would be an agent who will try to play with the rules of the game in order to maximize his utility. And by utility, we mean maximizing his wealth, such as economic profits, and so on and so forth. So, how do we actually compare the Homo economicus and also Homo Islamicus? To do that, let's engage in a thought experiment. So imagine that there is a seller within a monopoly market, and this seller can either be a Homo economicus or it can also be a Homo Islamicus. So it is important for us to remember that this seller exists within a monopoly market. So what would our agent do? So in a monopoly market, the Homo economicus would recognize that he has a lot of market power within the economy. He's the only seller who can provide a particular goods in the market, so he has the right to dictate what price the goods should be sold at. That means there's a lot of injustice exerted towards the consumers. There will be sellers who will try to capitalize on the opportunity to penetrate the market and provides cheaper alternatives to consumers in which the consumers would totally buy into. Recognizing this threat, the Homo economicus would try to bid the price down as low as possible, even including taking a loss for a particular period of time to wait for his competitor to go bankrupt and drive him out of the business. This is done to ensure that the market stays in a monopoly. So this is what Homo economicus would do. And even Adam Smith said he champions the concept of individualism, which means that the market should be free and people should have the justice and freedom to pursue their incentives in the market. So it is also important to note that while Adam Smith champions individualism, he also champions the concept of free market. A monopoly is not a free market. He argues that monopoly would cause an economy to be poorer in the long run because everything operates at an inefficiency. There's no efficiency in price, there's no efficiency in supply and demand. Therefore, there's a lot of wasted opportunity and deadweight losses incurred within the economy that practices monopoly. So what's the solution? This is where the Homo Islamicus steps in. Because the Homo Islamicus, according to Al-Ghazali, An Islamic man is a man who tries to strive to find a balance between the life and the hereafter. The reason why moderation is key in order to define the concept of Homo Islamicus is because while Homo Islamicus respects the sense of rationalism that the individual should be able to pursue their self-interest, it also takes into consideration of the collective benefit to society, which means that if a particular actions or the pursuit of an individual self-interest would encroach or inhibit other consumers' ability to pursue their own self-interest, then that cannot be done. The individual cannot exercise his self-interest because he would net a huge benefit for himself, but a collective loss for the whole of society. So back to our thought experiment earlier, why or how would the Homo Islamicus act within a monopoly market? The result is simple. The Homo Islamicus would allow competitors to penetrate the market. Why? Because he recognizes that even if his best interest is to stay in the market with as much market power as possible, because he would gain a lot of economic profits along the way, this would be unfair and unjust to the consumers. So what this means is that he would allow competitors to penetrate the market and compete prices with them in a fair manner. In a fair manner, as in allowing the market to dictate the equilibrium price and the equilibrium demand of the goods that they will sell in the market. So even if there is nothing wrong with the Homo economicus, just because he's playing with the rules of the game, does not mean that what he did was right. It might be fair for him according to the economics, but in a social manner and a social economic context, what he did can be considered as injustice towards other people, because when the goods are sold too high, most people won't be able to realize and actualize their self-interest. So what the Homo Islamicus is doing right now is to enable other people to pursue their own self-interest while not neglecting or throwing away their ability to practice their own self-interest. So it is a win-win situation for everyone. So how do we create an economy that is both moral and sustainable at the same time? We have two ends of a spectrum. We have capitalism and then we have socialism. So both of these spectrums tackles one half of the problem differently. So for capitalism, for example, because it champions individualism and free trade, it encourages sustainable growth because businesses can compete with one another and encourages innovation and new technological advancements to happen. However, capitalism cannot be considered moral because it neglects those who are hindered by arbitrary factors from achieving their self-interest. What these arbitrary factors are includes racism, marginalization, oppression, birth lottery, and also things such as generational wealth may impede an individual's ability to maximize their own utility in a capitalist market. So what about socialism? Well, socialism targets the welfare of its community pretty good. That means the moral aspect is definitely taken care of. However, it is not sustainable because the market does not operate in a free market. Thus, businesses have no incentives to pursue growth and economic profits because everything is controlled by the government. What to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce is all dictated by the state. So businesses will eventually leave the economy in search of a better market. Therefore, it is moral but not sustainable. So the way forward is to integrate the best of both worlds. What this means is that we take the free market aspect of capitalism and the welfare aspect of socialism and integrate them into a Homo Islamicus way of an Islamic mixed market. So what this means is that while we encourage business to engage in free market, we take care of the welfare of the lowest common denominator in society by imposing taxes on the wealthy to trickle down the wealth towards those who are in the P40 section. So this tax may come in the form of income tax or zakah even. And that's it. Homo Islamicus is always about striving to find balance between satisfying your own needs and also taking care of other members of society. There's always going to be difficulties in striving to find that balance between life and the hereafter. But according to Al Ghazali, we should not try to neglect either one. We have to always try to find the balance in the middle. Thank you very much for listening and have a good day.